It's back to school time. Hi, I'm Julie, Fei-Fan Balzer. And if you're super excited about back to school, then you know it's all about the school supplies. So today we're going to be decorating notebooks. From the home screen, choose pattern. And then I'm going to go into these shapes. I'm looking for the food because I want an apple for school, which I think is kind of perfect. So I can resize this. Maybe I want it a little bit bigger for my notebook. And then this is a new feature that I love, which is if you want to import the stem, you can. If you want to import the body of the apple, you can. But if you want to import both parts, then you can do that too. So I'm going to say okay. And now see here, this means that these are grouped. This means that they're ungrouped. Grouped, ungrouped. So I want them ungrouped. I'm going to say set. And now when I click on it, you see there's two separate red instead of one big red around it. So if I click off, I can now move them apart. So I have my stem up here and I have my body down here. Now I also want to add some text. So I'm going to choose add and I want to choose pattern and pattern again. And then from the built-in fonts, I'm going to choose a font that feels kind of schooly to me, for lack of a better word. And I'm going to type in my name, but it also could be the name of the school, the name of the subject, whatever it is. Say set. And then I'm going to compare the size of this text to the size of my apple. It's close, but I want to resize it. So edit, object edit, the resizing icon, and let's just bring it down so it fits a little better. Okay, so maybe even a little bit smaller. That looks good. So once I'm happy, I say okay, but it's not centered. So I'm going to say okay, go to my selection tool, click on the apple since the Julia was already highlighted. Now you can see both of them have red boxes, so I know they're highlighted. Okay. And object edit. And now I want to go to the alignment button and I'm going to be able to center align it in both directions. So now I know, yes, it's going to fit perfectly in there. So I have the option, of course, of cutting it out of the apple if I wanted, or I can layer it with a different color of vinyl. I think it will be cool to cut it out of the apple. So I'm just going to leave it where it is. Say okay. Okay again. Okay, because I'm still okay. And now I do want to scan in my material to make sure that everything is placed correctly. So I'm using a low-tack mat because my vinyl has a paper backing. You can see I've loaded some red vinyl. I was just brayering it down, and then I didn't have any green vinyl, so I used a permanent marker and I colored a piece of white vinyl green. I'm going to open the dust cover on the machine. I need to take out the correct blade. So to cut vinyl, you want to use the black auto blade. Simply pull the cover off and insert it into the blade holder. And now I load the mat with the arrow pointing in and press the load button. Now I can go ahead and choose the scan button right here in the center of the screen. Looks like an oven door, and press start. Screen, I can clearly see that the Julia is fine, but it looks like the leaf might need to get adjusted. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And to do that, I go to edit. Here's the zoom. And I can actually zoom in a little bit more. And now I can drag this and place it so it fits in that green colored area. So, okay. Okay again. Now here is the coolest part about the auto blade. So we're going to select cut. And remember, we haven't set the blade to anything, but notice the pressure speed half cut off. That is not what we want. We want the half cut on. So I'm going to click on the little wrench tool. And you can see half cut on because I want it to only cut through the top layer of vinyl and not through the backing. So I'm going to say okay. And now I'm ready. If you want to do a test cut, you can. And notice now that it comes in the lower right corner where we always used to drag it, which is perfect. So I'm going to just press start and see what happens. The auto blade got it right. It's perfectly perfect. We just cut the test, but not through the backing. So that means that I am ready to press start. So now that we're done cutting, and did you notice how quiet the machine was? I'm going to go ahead and eject the mat, and I'm going to remove it, and then we'll begin the weeding process. So weeding is the process where we remove the parts that we don't want. So I'm going to pull outside the area of my cut, and you can see, boom, there's my cute little green leaf. Now for the apple, because I have a very large area, I'm going to just snip down the excess vinyl and save that for later. And then again, I'm going to pull away the excess, just like that. And I want to be sure, of course, to get all of those letters gone. So now I have some transfer grid. And I am going to go ahead, I'm going to do the apple first because it's the part that I want to be in the front. So I place the grid over, leaving enough room for the apple stem at the top. You can brayer over it. You can rub with your thumb. You can use your scraper tool. You just need to get this stuck onto the transfer sheet. And when it's stuck, here you go. Now, I want to get the apple stem in the right place. Because I can see through the transfer grid, it makes it really easy to place that exactly the way that I want it. Rub, and it's going to stick right on there. So now here is my notebook. And I can decide exactly where I want to place it. I feel like sort of center top. And I can use the grid to make sure that it's straight. And again, I can use my brayer or my thumb. Boom. So cool. You got to create a personalized notebook in just a few minutes. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to make a few more notebooks. So you're going to approach this the same way. Pick your design from the built-in designs, whatever it is that you want, resize it as you wish, hit set. Then you're going to add your text from the built-in fonts. And I like to choose a font that kind of matches the feeling of what I'm doing. Remember that you can use capital and lowercase letters really easily when you use the built-in fonts in the ScanNCut. You want to resize it just like we did before, so it's about the right size to match your design. Again, you want to align it by selecting all and using your alignment tools. And once you're done, it's time to cut, and the auto blade is going to take care of it. As long as you have already cut vinyl, then you know you're on the half cut setting and you're ready to go. Once it's done, you can take the vinyl off and then it's ready to weed. Once you have weeded it, you put it on a transfer sheet and then, oops, you can see that my design is a little bit large for my notebook. I didn't measure the notebook. I just assumed I knew the size and I guess I was wrong. So I decided not to let it bother me and I just decided to let little bits hang off. And you'll see that I have an easy solution, which is just using my finger to fold over the extra edges. And you know what? I think it looks fantastic. Crafting is not about perfection. It's really about having fun. So for notebook number 3, again, we're going to pick from the built-in designs. And I like this little house design that's in here. You can resize it as you wish to fit your notebook, maybe measure notebook. And we're just going to choose the single design. I don't want the outline feature, so I'm going to choose B. And again, set. Now I want to add text, just like we did before. You guys are used to this. You're experts at it, and you know exactly how to do it. So once I've added my text, guess what? gonna resize it so that it's about the right size to match my image. If you think this is all the same every time, you're completely right, except I decided to get fancy on this last one and add one more image. So I'm going back to the images and I'm gonna go ahead and add in a castle, because guess what? Your house is your castle, and I thought it would be fun if the shadow of the house was a castle. Well, I think it's fun anyway. So I'm just going to rotate that around again using the onboard editing tools. I might resize it so it's a little bit bigger so it matches the house a little bit more. And then I'm going to align them again, but I'm also going to distribute them. Now you have the ability to vertically and horizontally evenly distribute your parts, and that's really nice. So then we're ready to go ahead and cut it out of vinyl. And I love that, you know, while this was cutting, I just walked out of the room and did something else, because you don't need to babysit it or watch it, because you know the AutoBlade's doing its job. Then we're off to the races once again, transferring. I did not get this on straight. And you can see that once you put it down, that's what it is. But you know what? Again, it's not about perfection. Old vinyl on top of this black notebook to match my second notebook, to match my first notebook. So whether you're going to school, or it's a planner, or it's your just household notebook, or let's say you want to take sports notes or anything else, it's so easy with the ScanNCut DX and the AutoBlade to cut, decorate, and personalize. Thanks so much for watching. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to visit my blog at balzerdesigns.typepad.com, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course, don't forget about the ScanNCut website at ScanNCut.com.